Hi folks, and welcome to Schick Happens. In today's episode, I'm going to head out back to the woods and see if I can find some morel mushrooms. We finally got some decent weather here. It wasn't too long ago we had snow, and for the last few, 3-4 days, we've had frost. But things are starting to warm up. We've been extremely busy around the property here, planting trees, landscaping, working on the raised beds, and getting the garden prepped. But I think now I'm just going to devote an hour and a half to heading out back to the woods to see if I can find some morel mushrooms. Why don't you come along? Now this is just going to be a short voyage out back to the woods behind my house that I know like the back of my hand. Most of it anyway. So I'm just going to take a mesh bag with me in case I do find some morels. Some bug spray in case the mosquitoes got wind that warm weather's here. And I am going to take my Garmin eTrex 20X, not for navigating to find my way in and out, but I do have quite a few spots marked on this where I found mushrooms over the years. So I'm going to take this just in case. And then the last thing is some beer. That's for medicinal purposes. Now around here in Northwest Ohio, the choice tree a lot of people look for are elm trees. Dead elm trees or dying elm trees. Those seem to be a magnet, have the right makeup for morel mushrooms. It could vary from state to state. I know when we go to northern Michigan, we're concentrating on ash trees and silver maples. But here in Northwest Ohio, elm is the go-to tree. And sometimes fruit trees, apple trees or apple orchards, and I found some, not many, around cherry trees. So that's what I'm going to focus on today is elms. And I'll probably hit the south slopes first. It usually takes me a couple trips to get in tune with the ground and to train my eyes to know exactly what I'm looking for. But if you're unfamiliar with morel mushrooms, I always like to think of them as a wrinkled thumb. I know that's a poor description, but that's what comes to mind when I see one. At a glance, it's amazing how much these walnuts look like a mushroom. Well, I've been out here about an hour now. I still haven't found a mushroom yet, but I can tell you that I've put a lot more hours in the woods looking for mushrooms than I have finding mushrooms. It's just the way it goes when you're mushroom hunting. On a plus note, the beer's cold. I have a couple more spots that I want to check, my early season spots. See if there's any grays popping up in that area. And if I don't have any luck there, I think I'm just going to go back up to the house, grab an ultralight, and see if I can catch some bass. I see a branch. I do see the May-apples are up. That's always a good indicator of the start of the mushroom season here. When these start popping and opening up, the mushrooms aren't far behind. Well, as often the case, the first mushroom I usually find of the season is a dryad saddle, also known as pheasant back. It's a polypore, bunch of little holes. Can you see those? And these are edible. There's just not a lot of flavor to them, and you can cook them forever and they're still chewy. The only thing I've done in the past that made these to me palatable or taste good was I pickled them in a dill pickle solution for upwards of 6 months, or let them chill in the fridge for 6 months and brine. They weren't too bad, but they're pretty easy to identify, and when you smell them, they smell like just about exactly like a watermelon rind. That's not what I'm after. Well, there was no mushrooms today, but I'm guessing by the time I get this edited and posted, I'll have found some by then, and hopefully put another video together finding those. But I just thought I'd bring you along with one of my first outings for Morel mushrooms here in Northwest Ohio. There has been a few people, reports that I've heard locally, that they found a few, but I still think we're a good 4 or 5 days away from mushrooms being all over the place, at least where you can find them. I think it's just a little bit early yet. Thanks for joining me here today on Schick Happens. I was going to do this outro saying this was a mushroomless mushroom hunt, but as I walked up to this location, down at the base of the tree here, there's actually 2 grays. They're a little old too. I think they got kissed by some frost, but that's a good indicator that the mushrooms are coming up, and I hope to have a much more successful hunt here coming soon that I hope I can film and share with you. But if you've not already subscribed to this channel and you enjoy the content, please consider doing so. Cheers.